Release the baby.
Ding, ding,
So,
ding, ding,
I was
ding.
at work today, and I just had like a self-conscious thought about what I was calling everyone I work with, and I just wanted to think, like, man, I call these guys anything but their first name.
Like, are you talking like slurs?
No,
Whoa,
I'm talking-
what else?
that's
I
a
mean,
jump.
maybe like a slur or two.
What are
That's a
you calling
jump.
them then?
Their nicknames.
Yeah, everybody in the trades has nicknames.
Yeah, but
rather
So
than
Joey, I
their
was
real
wondering, what's
name.
like the funniest nickname you got off the top of your dome?
I've only had 2 nicknames. One is the kid because I'm the youngest person there,
Yeah.
and
Joey the Kid is.
2
kinda
is
lame.
snitch. And I've got a
You
funny.
got called Snitch.
I have a funny story behind snitch. I got it the second day I was working, and it was by one guy who was just pissed off all the time.
Yeah.
But first day I was there, we hit a fiber optic line that was our own, and then it's like, ooh, actually this is pretty good. You only touched the outer like layer of it.
Mhm.
We could put this back in the ground. We'll mark it if it messes up for everything like that, and we'll
Yeah.
come back and fix it.
Mhm.
Don't tell anyone about this. And this was my boss saying that. He's like, just don't tell the other crew. They're kind of annoying about this and will pester us.
Right.
And so I go to the other crew for the next day to learn something different. And so then they hit a fiber optic line.
Uh-oh.
And it's not as bad as yesterday. And I'm like, oh, I've seen worse. Hindsight, that's a bad thing to say
Yeah,
when
your
I've been there
second day
for
on the
2
job.
days. Trust me, I was so out of it.
I've seen worse. It's
I've seen
fine.
worse even here for a day and not with
Flipping through
us.
calendars, be like, man, what is this? You started yesterday.
So he
Unlucky.
called me a snitch. And so
I mean,
So
I don't blame him though. That's really unlucky for you.
yeah, it's a terrible name though. I felt
You
so
got it,
bad.
man.
Well, it's a name that I want to say I came up with for someone else. It was more of a collaborative effort, but I'm the one who called him
Nickname
it
collab.
first.
Group effort.
Yeah. So we got this guy at work. His name's Jacob. He's a great guy. But the only issue was one time we were all drinking and he has celiac, so he broke out in hives and was like, guys, check this out. And he's also like, he was also just saying how he's been working out more recently. So he took off his shirt. He's like, look at all these hives I got over me. And then he started flexing because he was drunk. And then after that, he passed out, and we were just like fucking with him, as in like going because we were super drunk.
I
right?
imagine in the way you told it is
He
instant.
flexes and he
Yeah.
flexes and he
Oh,
falls
no.
over.
Yeah, no, like he sat back in the stool. He also had his pants off as well. So he
Well,
said his, like,
okay, this is
underwear.
just some
No,
weird
no,
video.
wait. Where do you work again?
I don't want to say that.
No, what's your career? Because
I am a plumber.
that's-
we were at my buddy's house.
He's
you're
at plumber
definitely,
drinking.
you're definitely rearranging someone's pipe. That's all I'm saying.
He was at Plumber Con. Don't worry.
But yeah, so we tuck him into bed and everything like that. And then the next day, I'm like, "Hey, it's Femboy Jake," because
No
he's
way.
flexing and it was acting like a femboy, you know. It was
That's
like he had long hair at the time as well, and the ongoing joke was that he got pegged. So
Yeah,
There's
that's
a
an awesome
femboy
joke.
at your establishment? Are
Yes.
you guys hiring?
no, it's a legendary nickname because I was talking to you, Emmett, like yesterday or today.
Yeah.
I was like, yeah, I was working with Jacob, and you mean, oh, Femboy Jake?
Yeah, I've heard this
Nice.
story before. I'm a big fan of Femboy Jake.
That's awesome.
Yes, you are.
I love
I
Femboy
love
Jake.
that boy date.
Yeah, so I just wanted to talk about that. Anyway,
Anyways,
Yeah.
what's today's episode?
today's episode is the best meal of the day.
All right,
So true.
I've got one.
I think this is a really good idea. I'm a big fan of meals.
I love eating.
You live.
I
to
love
eat.
eating as
You
well.
live to eat and you eat to live. That's just the truth of
Yeah.
things.
Yeah.
So this is episode 15? 14?
Yep, 15.
Check my watch. It's 15 time.
Yeah,
It is.
episode 15 of Something Objectively Stupid. Make sure you check out the rest of the channel and subscribe if you like the kind of stuff that we do.
Mhm,
I'd agree.
mhm. We're on Spotify. Go listen to us on Spotify.
That
if
felt
you're in
really
your
weird to
car.
say out loud. You were kind of right, Joey.
Hey, let me do the fun stuff. This many percentage of you aren't subscribed.
Kill yourself. Kill yourself. Kill
Yeah,
we
I-
will never do that.
I was telling my dad earlier today, because I was telling him about the statistic of the views to subscriptions.
Yeah.
Because on our
It's
stats,
like 99%.
well, on our stats, we've passed one of the milestones, which is watch hours. We have
Really? Nice.
more watch hours on our account than we do subscribers.
I noticed we were
which-
close last time I looked, but I didn't
Yeah.
know we passed it. That's
It
awesome.
happens. It's supposed to happen, but it usually my entire life it's been more subscribers than watch time.
Yeah.
Because you get your friends and family to subscribe first, but now we're kind of breaking that point where our watch time is more than subscribers.
Nice.
And he's
That's
like,
pretty
"Oh, you should tell them." He told
He did.
He's a YouTuber at heart, I guess, or a content creator. He knew what to say, and he's like, "You should pull up the statistic." Like he's
No
like he's seen
way.
it
Oh
before.
my god!
I was
And like he would never have seen that
Justin
before.
started laughing. He's
Yeah.
never seen it before.
I would
Justin
laugh
knew.
my ass off.
He's like, "Dad was born to sell out." I'm like, "That's crazy."
That's fun.
Sell out. Can we get him on the podcast?
We'll get the Steve Willen.
He already was. He
Yeah,
already was on the podcast.
He's a bored YouTuber. Wow.
Yeah.
That
He was-
wrong generation. Wow.
Yeah, no
Dude,
kidding.
he's also one of our most popular shorts too.
He
He's
is.
natural born at this, which is awesome.
Okay,
Speaking
we need
of-
to start selling out to
Wait,
Steve
hold
Williams.
on. That man's, if you would entertain this idea, a whole meal. A whole meal that I would eat for supper. The best meal. Anything you
You're
say
picking
is
You're
wrong.
supper for best
Because it
meal.
wins. Supper wins.
Oh,
So-
so you pick something just to win, not for fun?
I pick-
Yeah.
Yeah, you guys have to pick something objectively stupid.
I'm gonna be honest. I might leave you with the worst choice. I also don't want to lie, but I'll try.
No, lying is great. I love
Lying is good, so I think I'm gonna pick lunch because I don't eat breakfast very often.
So you're saying breakfast is the worst meal of the day?
I think that it's the most unneeded meal of the
You
day.
see-
It's the most useless.
So,
That
okay,
makes
okay, hold on. If we're gathering this like I'm supper, you're lunch, you're breakfast,
I'm
right?
breakfast.
Mhm.
You're wrong because if you look at any statistic online, breakfast is one of like it's
It is
it's
quoted
the
as the
most important
That's
meal
not
of the
real.
day.
However, that's how we have to go to defining it. Anyway, I picked breakfast,
Yeah.
and now we got to go into defining the rules here, right?
Okay.
Huh.
Because like, how do we pick when our meal is? Is it by time? Like, is it like, oh, it's past 10 o'clock now? Anything you eat is lunch?
No,
yeah, that's
uh,
a good question.
It depends on when you wake up. Like my girlfriend wakes up way later in the day and
Right.
doesn't eat breakfast or lunch. But if she did, she would eat it at like 10 in the morning.
Right. Yeah. So you're
But it'd
shift, if
still
you're a
be
shift
breakfast.
worker and you go out to eat at 5 o'clock, though, there's not going to be any breakfast options for you at a fine dining establishment.
No, well, 5 o'clock I think is like the hard selling line of it's supper time.
Yeah. Yeah. So there is a time limit, but there isn't a time limit. That doesn't make sense.
I think breakfast is really wishy washy between like
Which
up until noon.
this is
probably
why I
is
think
when you can have
breakfast is
breakfast.
the most useless. I don't think
Mm.
I think if I were to give it a time, I would say breakfast stops at 11. But
11.
brunch, which is basically
Do we even
breakfast, lunch-
include?
I don't think we
brunch?
I
include-
think brunch is included.
You
I don't think we should. I don't think we should include brunch for the sake of the argument because it's a whole separate.
It'd be its own mealtime.
It's its own
I
mealtime.
think it's breakfast and lunch, right? Like
Yeah, but if we're arguing which meal's the best, then brunch would be its own category.
So what time is? Let's say what time is brunch?
brunch is from 11 to 1.
Interesting
Yeah.
thought.
At 2 o'clock, that's late lunch.
This
That's
tea
just
time.
This is
lunch.
the interesting thought, and I need you guys to lock in on this.
Yeah.
Is that if most fast food restaurants and fine dining establishments
Yep.
switch breakfast to lunch at 11?
Yep.
Mhm.
If brunch is from 11 to 1,
Yep.
is brunch just not lunch but with breakfast foods? And therefore, does that not technically make it lunch? Or do we go back to the question of does the food define the meal or the time?
I think it's too complicated. I think we shouldn't include brunch because then we have to include lupper.
Yeah, and luppers, so I don't like talking about
And then
that.
I win harder, so I
but-
think we
okay,
should
but
include them.
Where do midnight snacks fall
Hold on.
What do you mean, hold on?
What is lupper?
Lupper
It's
is
lunch
the
supper.
opposite of brunch.
It's
When
lunch
is
supper.
lupper?
It's
It's
like
in between
3.
lunch and supper.
It's like 3 o'clock.
Is that
It's when
not
you need a little
basically
snack.
just lunch?
no,
And
it's
if
when you
no.
need a little
Is
snack.
that not just a snack then?
It's tea time, is
No,
what it
it's-
is.
it
It was
is.
back in the day. It was
Tea
tea time.
That's coffee break. That's coffee break.
no, because
right?
coffee break can happen in the morning.
It
as
could
well.
happen.
Coffee
Coffee
break is
break
always
more
in the
often.
morning.
Yeah.
Regardless, lupper doesn't exist.
Yes,
and if
it
you're
does.
telling me you have lupper,
There's a whole song about lupper.
if
It
you
exists.
have lupper,
yeah.
and then you like 2 hours later you have dinner.
Have you ever met a hobbit?
Yes, I've met a hobbit. They have like 10 breakfasts and 10 lunches.
They have second breakfast.
That's
Nice.
more than I have.
Yeah.
Regardless, I don't think Lupper exists.
I don't think brunch
And I
exists.
think that the song about it is because the song is there because it's funny.
It's from Ant Farm.
It's from Ant Farm, like the Disney TV
Yes,
show?
like the Disney TV
Nice.
show.
Where yeah, what's that one kid?
Disney recognizes it as a mealtime, and therefore it's
It's
real.
real. Disney
okay, well
is
then,
law.
what is that number between
Please
6
sponsor
and
us.
7?
We should
6 and
we
7
should-
on iCarly. It's like Zor. Like it's like blur. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, blur 7 because iCarly made it up, I guess.
I don't think just for sake of numbers and for time wise, I don't think we should include brunch or we should
Lupper.
include Lupper.
Okay.
But what about midnight snacks? What
No.
would that fall into a category?
I
That's not a
think we just do the
meal.
3 main.
That's not a meal.
Okay, but like when I
can make a meal.
it can be a meal.
You
when I
can-
come downstairs at 12 o'clock and I make a plate of nachos by pouring Tostitos on a plate and shredded cheese on top and toss it in the microwave for 43 seconds exactly. Don't
That's a
ask.
meal.
I
That's a
think,
meal.
I think it could be.
Yeah.
I think it's like more of a mini point. It's more like this is a nice secondary after supper meal time. I'm hungry again. Going downstairs. These meals are always peak
Yeah.
because they're what I want before I go to bed.
Yeah.
They're extremely unhealthy for you because you should not eat and then go to bed. That's
That's
really
my
bad
favorite
for
shit.
you.
I know, but it's my
I know,
favorite.
it's my
shit.
favorite shit as well.
I love stuffing
just
my
know
face
it's
at 8
bad.
p.m. then passing out at 8:30.
I
love
pig
Yeah,
out.
that.
it's so bad for you,
I
but
pig
I
out
do
so
it
bad.
all the time.
So here's the thing. I think it might just be easier to classify dinner and breakfast and lunch as the food. Because if we're not gonna argue, you know what I mean? Like if you're gonna have
Yeah, we
dinner,
won't
you could have
argue.
dinner at midnight. You could have breakfast at midnight.
But I would have
Yeah.
to
Right.
disagree with that though because like what food you have for a meal, like if I'm eating eggs on toast at 5
Mhm.
o'clock and I've already had 2 meals before it, I'm counting that as my supper.
So
If I go to talk to people, I said, yeah, for supper I had 2 eggs on toast.
what happens when you start having like a second breakfast or a second supper? With
I would
that?
call you a fat ass.
We just talked
Okay.
about having like a midnight snack, or
And
like
I call myself a fat
or
ass all the
a
time.
3 o'clock meal. Like you
Yeah.
have lunch and then you'd have a 3 o'clock meal.
Yeah.
Like that's what I'm saying. Like would that 3 o'clock meal benefit supper? Would that be on the supper side or be on the lunch side? Therefore, I think it might just be easier, for sake of argument's sake, to do foods.
Well, we're gonna have to
But
argue
food's-
food anyway.
Exactly.
So-
We're gonna have to
I
argue
think
food anyway, but food I feel like is just wrong because what someone likes for breakfast, like you don't have to have breakfast foods for breakfast.
100%.
You can have steak and eggs or something, and steak is traditionally a supper food,
Supper
right?
food, yep.
Yeah, so
leftovers for breakfast is a big thing.
yeah, so if I have leftover cold pizza, what if I just wanted a warm pizza instead and I toss on a pizza at 9 a.m.
Let's-
Yeah,
in the
that's
morning?
dinner
Let's
now.
take-
I guess.
yeah, is that
That's
dinner
dinner
now?
now because
Let's,
yeah.
let's take the statistic more so as like common foods for breakfast, common foods for lunch, common foods for supper. So like breakfast for supper is a pretty common one, right?
Mhm.
It
I
doesn't
think-
help my
I
point
like-
as
I
hard.
think food and time go hand in hand. I don't
Yeah,
think we
yeah.
can ignore one without the other.
So
However,
okay, here we go.
I just want to say that what you said threw me off and I forgot my point.
I was sorry, my bad.
Yes!
I was just gonna go with like I like the common sense rule. If you think it classifies as lunch, it's lunch.
Are we
If you
laying down
think
the law or are we just doing something
let's
silly?
let's kind of like the law is there, like this is breakfast, this is lunch, this is dinner,
Right.
but like like you can kind of like blur the lines a
Mm.
little bit. Sorry, I'm moving my mic.
Yeah.
You can kind of blur the lines a little bit as we
I
get
agree.
into the argument.
Well, yeah, the thing is too, like, for shift workers, right? Like, we can't just do time for that reason. I think order of meals is basically what it is, because like breakfast
Whatever you have
breaking
first.
down is breaking the fast,
Yep.
Yeah.
right? So even if you ate at 11 o'clock, technically that's your breakfast. Are we going like that? Because then breakfast is the meal everyone has no matter what,
Yep.
unless you are starving.
I think let's just do it by like general rule of thumb. If you're having breakfast at 11, okay, you're not gonna have a lunch at noon, right? Like
Yeah.
that's
You're not gonna
you could-
have lunch at
you
that
could
point. You're just
argue-
gonna
yeah.
go from breakfast to dinner.
But then I would more classify that. It depends on maybe what you have.
It would almost be lunch if you eat at like 11 o'clock. It would almost be classified. as
yeah,
lunch.
I
but
would
then-
say it's lunch at around that
Yeah,
point.
like I guess for that.
But if that's my first meal of the day and I woke up at 10, is that lunch or is that breakfast?
Still, I don't think
I
we should
think
go
it
so
depends
hard
on what
into the
you have
rules.
next.
I think this is how we should do it. All
Okay.
right, ladies and gents, the best meal of the day, and this is my argumentative point, is supper. Why is it the best meal of the day? It's typically your largest meal of the day. It has its downsides, of course. If you don't have a dish, if you don't have a
Yeah, like-
dishwasher,
Yeah.
Gross on
relax.
the
if you
specter.
don't have a dishwasher in your household, then dinner it's a little annoying. You create a lot of dishes. Typically, these meals are prepared for by your parents or somebody like that until you have your own space that you live in, and now you have to do everything on your own.
Can't relate.
I know. You have a dish. Obviously, you own a dishwasher.
Don't call his mom that.
No.
Come on.
No.
That's wrong.
You're getting better.
That's wrong.
That's clear. That's clear.
Joey,
You
you
know the
cannot
short-
call women that.
That's
You know the short I'm making this week? It's that. I'm putting like a little number one.
Okay.
I'm putting the number one gold medal on you, and it's gonna be a podium saying womanizer.
Obviously, this is a joke. I do not think about that. This is obviously a joke.
Okay.
You're
Back to my
crucified, buddy.
point. Dinner is one of the biggest meals of the day. It's typically the one where you have everybody together. It's more of like a community event. Like you have your entire family. It's always, for most families, I know some don't, but you all sit down at your dinner table, you talk about how your day was, and you eat some good food, hopefully, if your parents know what seasonings are.
We're white.
You sit down. I know. That's why I say if your parents know what seasonings are. But you sit down, you have your good meal, and it's typically delicious. It's great. You might have a snack in like 3 hours or something like that, but it's that major focal point of, oh, your family selects a time, 5 p.m. You best be upstairs by 5 p.m. because you know when dinner is. We shouldn't have to call you for dinner.
Dinner is one of the few things that are like an event.
Yep, you have big foods. That's your most time took to prepare a meal typically in the day.
It's
So why does the most time make it the best? If
Yeah.
I have to spend a shit ton of time on something and they don't use seasonings and it's mid as fuck, and I'm forced to be there with my family, I'm gonna end up hating it.
Sure, that's called a bad meal.
Yeah, that's called.
So-
So what happens more for bad meals? Does more bad meals happen for breakfast, lunch, or supper?
let's get more into the let's get into this. I like this. Let me bring up a bad memory for you.
Okay.
You're gonna sit here, boy, until you finish your plate.
Yeah.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
only happens
It's
at
At
dinner.
supper.
That's true. It does
Or,
only
yeah,
happen at
supper.
supper. That's true.
Or what's another one? You're right in the middle of something. You're like, Joey, supper's ready. You hit
should-
him with the 5 minutes.
You should have planned.
Yeah,
You
but
should have planned better.
kid-
I'm playing League of Legends. We're
Yeah.
on minute
That's
50.
your
My
bad.
Yeah.
team can't end the game.
Mom, Dad, I can't pause the game. Or another big thing, come home, it's 7:30. You just got back from a terrible shift. You just
Mhm.
want to shower. Just wanna
And the
go to bed.
meatloaf's burnt, and then you beat your
No.
You're getting a gold medal for womanizer at the end
No,
of this as
and then you
well.
have to tell them it's a joke.
It's a joke, it's a
And
joke.
that's cut, ladies and gentlemen. That's how they edit.
That's how you edit, baby. Let me tell you.
So yeah, no, I wasn't going there with that. I was gonna say you look in your fridge and all you got is like 2 eggs and like that's it.
I got a quick question for you. Why the fuck is your family making 2 eggs for dinner?
No, I'm saying you like you come
Like
home
you by yourself.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you come home
myself.
by yourself.
Yeah.
Like like
Because supper's great when you have a family.
Yeah.
Like, what if you go home and you got no one and you still gotta
I'm-
make supper at like 6 o'clock?
I'm the one who deals with this problem because I live with
Yeah.
I live on my own, right? I typically don't have just 2 eggs in my pantry. Also, a lot
Okay,
of meals.
Mr.
Yeah.
Rich.
yeah,
a lot
whatever, bro.
I have juice in there too. That's all I got. But no, like a lot of dinner meals can also be whipped up really quick. Like I'm a guy who loves rice. If you grab some rice and you grab some vegetable stock,
Yep.
you put some vegetable stock in that thing, 5-minute rice. You are done a meal in 10 minutes,
know
and you had
what's-
to sit down on the couch and play a cookie-based game, and then go back up
A
and
cookie-based
check,
game.
and check your stovetop and go, oh, good, my rice is finished. Easy.
Yo, add me
Easy
on
day.
add me on Cookie Run Kingdom. Seriously.
Put it up on
You
screen.
Put it up on
cannot- You
screen.
cannot say its full name. That's
Why
blatant
not?
promotion.
Bro,
they don't have to
using the
pay
government
me.
name.
Yeah, they don't have to pay
We
me.
aren't
I
sponsored. You've been playing it for the last like 10 hours.
I'm a big fan of Cookie Run Kingdom.
To out myself a little bit, I played Cookie Run Kingdom for maybe, what was it, 15 hours in 2 days, which was wild. It was over a weekend.
That's crazy.
The game hooked me.
What's another bad thing about supper?
Speaking of the weekend, one of your main points is that your whole family gets together to have a nice meal, right?
Mhm.
Sunday morning,
Yep.
9 a.m. rolls around. Everyone comes over for a nice
Mhm.
little breakfast. Some pancakes, sausages.
Okay.
You know, it might be a little more inconvenient if your family lives far away, but if they don't live that far away, coming over for breakfast is a viable option.
I've never had that.
You've never
In
had
my
it?
life, I've never had.
Christmas, every single
Really?
time. Because no one ever,
Christmas- okay.
no one ever picks breakfast, so it's
Yeah.
the best bet to actually have your family come over.
Yeah.
Actually, no. Even for Christmas, I've always had dinners at my family. On Sunday dinners, it was like my grandma would make up a shepherd's pie, goated meal, by the way. shepherd's
So
pie,
good.
some lasagna, something like that. You'd go over, they'd have the garlic bread. Wonderful meal for dinner. We'd all go over for dinner, and then it's just like, okay, go home. After your dinner is over, after you've had your talking done, it's in the evening. Everybody's done work. You could do it. Well, it's Sunday, so
Yeah.
you had to do all your
It's
daily
the
chores.
Lord's Day.
For me, I agree with Aiden on this. For me, it was always breakfast and brunch.
Yeah.
Brunch
Brunch
was a
is
big thing.
huge.
We had breakfast foods at 11:30. Like I live on a farm.
Yeah.
Joey, your mic. There, it's back. I live on a farm, and I remember Christmas morning. I run down. It's 5:30 in the morning. I'm like, yes, yes, yes. Big plastered sign at the bottom of my stairs. Don't you dare come down these stairs till chores
We're
are
doing
done.
chores.
You
Yeah.
stay in
Yeah.
bed. Yeah, so they come in at 10.
Yeah.
We open presents because we're not going to eat. We're jumping. We don't want to eat. We want to open
You're
presents.
jumping for joy. Like,
Yeah.
oh my
By the time we're done,
Santa!
it's like 11:30, and at that time, what's the easiest thing to make?
You just make breakfast.
You
yeah.
got eggs
Yeah.
and bacon in the fridge. Just
Mhm.
put that in, pancakes,
Mm.
right? That's awesome. But I would classify that's breakfast food.
That's breakfast.
But that is technically the first meal of the day that we
It's the
have.
first meal of the day, and it's breakfast foods. That's
Yeah.
breakfast.
But we don't have lunch because of that.
Yeah. So
I think your meal is the most ignored meal of the day.
I think I want to defend my point for lunch. Lunch, when you think of lunch, there's two sides.
Mhm.
Number one, you're at work. You're just having a slog day. You open your lunch pail.
You
Soggy.
see the soggy
ham
sandwich.
sandwich.
Yeah, that's it.
That shit sucks.
but when you
But it
got-
doesn't get worse than that. That's the worst as lunch can get.
and
Yeah,
then,
mind
you,
you-
then
the
you go to
best-
the
what's
gas
the
station and get
best-
some taquitos anyway.
Hold on. Lunch is the only meal of the day where you can have anything. Anything.
Ooh.
Anything.
Ooh, that's a good point.
You want breakfast food? Have it again. You want leftovers? Have it again. You want a steak?
Except
have it again.
except full supper meals typically for lunch. Like
That's
if you're
no,
if
that's
you're
co-
working,
no.
no. But
If
I'm
you're
saying
working,
for
yeah.
I'm saying for majority of the people who live on this world who aren't film students and are employed don't have time to make a steak at work.
Not
Right?
at
No,
work.
you-
You
you pack it.
You can pack it, but it's reheated. It's leftovers of a better meal that you had that day.
Lunch is
Okay,
also
so you literally just said, oh, you don't have time, so you make it the
Yeah.
best you can. It's your break at work, so you
so
get for non-union workers,
I
people
ain't got
actually
no
work
microwave.
in the trades and not a union over here.
I ain't got no microwave.
here's another thing.
I'm also
Lunch is basically the only thing that you don't feel guilty for getting fast food.
Mhm.
You can
Yeah,
eat
it's true.
fast food for lunch. You eat fast food for dinner, and you're like,
I was
"Oh,
lazy. I could have
yeah,
made something. I got stuff in the
yikes."
fridge. For lunch, it's like, fuck it.
Yeah, fuck it.
Leave
No,
all.
you're excited. When
Yeah.
you're getting fast food for lunch and you're on the job, you're like, yeah, where are we going, boys?
Yeah, that's true.
Where are we going?
And
When you're getting
it's
fast
always
food for
pizza.
dinner, it's like, ooh.
It's always pizza.
No, for me, it was always fast food.
Yeah, and let me tell you too, Joey, for dinner, right? When you go out on a date for dinner, it's something fancy.
Mhm.
You know, you take them out. They get like, oh, I'll have this, and some waiter comes over who's not getting paid enough to deal with your shit,
Yep.
and then gives you menus, and each item is like $30
Yeah.
fucking dollars.
I have
each.
a problem with the restaurant industry as a separate side point. I have a
And what do
really-
they focus on, Joey?
any meal of the day they're open usually.
No,
for fasting.
let's hear it. Let's hear it. I'm waiting to hear what the answer is.
Noon-
I'm waiting.
lunch and past. They usually don't do breakfasts.
I find places are always breakfast or dinner. Like if you specialize
Really?
on lunch, you're weird.
Whoa.
Yeah,
They usually won't open. Oh well, like specialized, like they'll be open all day. But
Like
they'll
I'm
have
saying,
those
I see
things.
most like breakfast coffee places exist. which are,
Like, I would say Tim Hortons is a breakfast coffee place because for supper
Yeah.
they do
Eh.
not have a lot of.
It's
the
a
old
big
crowd
block.
loves their 10 a.m. brunch.
Yeah.
They love their 10 a.m. brunch,
Uh-huh.
right? But and same with
Farmer's
dinner.
breakfast wrap.
Farmers breakfast wrap.
Yeah.
You
Well,
don't.
I have a problem with the restaurant industry, considering I don't like how they make their food and how the quality has dropped since, well, at least 5 years ago, 10 years ago. I think that their quality's gone stupidly far down, and that their prices have gone stupidly far up.
I think it depends on where you go.
It does definitely depend on where you
I
go.
think it definitely does depend on where you go because like, yes, prices have gone up across the board, but I mean I wasn't really buying fast food back in the day, so I don't really know how much they've gone up. But I do remember seeing a meme where it's like you could buy 8 Big Macs for 1 hour's worth of work, and now you can't even buy one.
Oh yeah.
It's
That's
like imagine
crazy.
no burger,
Imagine
Imagine
no burger.
and that's
I want 8
economic
burgers
collapse.
an hour.
Yeah, used to be able to buy 8 Big Macs
I
an
think
hour.
I've seen that on Instagram. That
Yeah.
picture. Maybe I'll be able to find it.
Yeah. Anyway, so I think we've all pretty much made our case,
Mhm.
right? Now I think to figure this out, we kind of need to do some matchups versus the food,
Mhm.
right? Because like, what's the better meal? It's the one that you enjoy the most, right?
100%.
So the type of foods that you have for these is the ones that you enjoy the most,
Yeah,
right? So what would you say is better? You know, like Joy, right here.
For,
All right, pancakes, burgers,
Are you saying burgers dinner?
burgers, dinner, pancakes, breakfast. Which one's better? Go,
Hold
go,
I
on.
like
go.
burgers for dinner.
Hold on. Burgers dinner? Don't get me wrong, you can have burgers for dinner, but here you are, nice summer day. You're 10 years old playing around at your grandma's house. You see
A lot
some
of
guy.
grandmas being mentioned.
Some
in this
guy, because that's where
episode.
the
Grandma,
food,
that's where the heart of
family
cooking
is
at.
food.
Yeah,
Family is
the
food is
heart of
family.
cooking
I
is
eat my
grandma.
family.
I
I agree. The heart of cooking is grandparents, or if you don't have grandparents, your parents, or even if you don't have your own parents, you cook your meal. Whoa. You cook your own meals.
Whoa.
No, I was counting down like this, and then I went like this. I almost held a middle finger. Guys, don't swear.
It's bad.
But
Guys, stop fucking swearing.
summer
Oh,
day. You're
no.
10 years old. You're running around playing soccer with all the cousins. You just get called over. You got a little paper plate.
Mhm.
Get some coleslaw, maybe some egg salad. You get a burger on there.
That's,
We are
that's
really-
That is the
That's
best
peak.
meal of the
That's
day.
peak.
That is
That's
the best
peak.
meal
It's
of the day.
dinner. I've never had burgers for lunch.
Why not?
We
Well,
have lived-
actually, I mean,
I was
wait,
like-
at
Yeah.
for fast food, I have, but
I was
mean,
like, we have lived
home-cooked-
completely different lives.
Yeah,
home
Yeah,
cooked
dude.
burgers for lunch.
What are you? Are
Like,
you
I'm both are farm kids.
Are
I'm
you
not a
like
farm
an
kid.
MDC? Like, what do you
Have you
do?
ever went to a pool for a day and it's like, hey, come get lunch,
And it's hot dogs and hamburgers.
and it's hot dogs and hamburgers?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's more so, but not hamburgers.
Oh, you were a
with it.
picky eater, weren't you?
I could eat. I can inhale anything.
Then why not burgers?
because they just didn't cook them. I guess.
Yeah, it was just more hot dogs. Hot
Weird.
dogs were easier and cheaper.
Regardless,
You could buy a cheap pack of
you can have a burger for dinner.
hot dogs.
You can have a nice burger for dinner, or you're a kid and you're just in the middle of something and grab a nice burger, sit on a lawn chair. sit
We're
on
really
the grass.
fucking going all in on the reminiscing.
The
This
Well,
episode.
that's
This
what food
episode's-
is.
That's what it
That
is.
is food
fair,
is.
that's
It's
fair.
at the heart.
It's every core memory is associated with food for me. I'm gonna
What do
be
you think
honest.
Remy the Rat's favorite meal was?
Ratatouille, was it not?
I don't
I
want to
meant, like,
say my answer.
breakfast,
I would have
lunch, or
to
supper.
mute for
Oh.
my answer.
I'll cut it out. I'll cut it out.
Cut it out. It's
Yeah.
definitely
Oh my god! We can't leave that in there. I had to cut yours out.
I said linguine. Get in
Oh.
there.
You know what? Joey's isn't racist, so I could probably keep that.
I
in.
muted my mic.
Yeah,
no,
my-
we said no.
Yeah. Okay.
No, but but I'm already planning on doing like gold medals stadium, so I need you to say
Master
something
button.
misogynistic for
There you
that
go.
to work.
Yeah. The
So
gold
if
medal
you could fit
stadium.
one of those in this episode, that'd be awesome.
I think Remy the Rat's favorite meal. What did we see him cooking most of? Honestly, it was.
Well, he worked in
dinner
a restaurant,
It was
so-
dinner foods, right? He was open from.
Yeah.
Morning was prep, and they open in the afternoon.
It was
and they have
pasta.
Dinner.
It was all pasta.
No
Right?
soups, pasta, but that's all like 5 Michelin star restaurants do. They open at like 5 a.m. They prep all day until dinner rush.
But I also want to talk about you always hear about like breakfast for dinner, you know, having cereal or something for dinner.
Yeah.
Is that
Whoa, cereal for dinner? That's like
Yeah,
poor. That's
wait.
poor people meal.
How low
that-
are you, bro?
That
well
is
no, it's
pretty
like it's
low.
like
You're like
like,
my brother
I
who
always
went
knew,
through
like-
all of our
no,
milk
but like
because he kept
sometimes
eating
you
cereal.
just do it. It's like whatever. You get home from a hard day's work, you're the only one home, you don't want to make
and
a
you
whole
eat
meal.
cereal.
You eat cereal.
No, that's a problem with dinner. Is that exhaustion at the end of the day when
Yeah.
you don't want to cook? But
So when you have someone for you,
Can you
it's
not
fantastic.
fight harder battles?
that's my thing. Is like I would never have cereal for dinner. You'd never catch me doing that. Like I don't even like eggs that much, but I'd still put eggs in toast.
Wow. Okay.
Like oh yeah, I'm a big hater of breakfast. I'm a big hater
you?
of breakfast.
I love breakfast. I can show you my breakfast cabinet because
I-
it's all cereal, and I love cereal in the morning. I can't function without it.
Biologically, I don't get hungry till 10. And when I eat breakfast, I feel gross.
Well, it's because every single night you eat 1,000 calories before you go to bed. That's why you don't want to
Yeah.
eat breakfast.
And then
Yeah,
I
you're
sleep,
so full.
and
'Cause
it's
you had-
so
Because
good.
you had-
it sits there and you haven't digested it.
yeah, because you had half a day's worth of calories and then you did nothing for 8 hours.
You know how awesome that is? That sounds like peak
No
life.
wonder why you're not hungry for breakfast. 'cause
forgot
you're
sometimes-
still
You're
full.
still eating technically.
I'm so full.
You just finished your meal.
My dummy,
The
I'm like a
fucking-
little baby with his bottle, and he tucked me into my crib. That's what
That's
I am.
it, that's it.
That
You have
shit
to be
is
the
so
hungry,
good.
hungry caterpillar to eat breakfast after doing that.
I'm a big fan of that. I'm a big fan of not eating
Yeah, you're,
breakfast.
you're a big fan.
My
that's
coffee,
for sure.
my coffee.
I think you
is
just,
my
I think
bed
you're forced to wake up too
Oh.
early for your schedule. I think you'd rather just be up later.
probably, but even then, I'd still probably only eat 2
Well,
meals a
so
day.
I told you the other day, like, yeah, man, I wake up. What was it, like 45 minutes before my shift starts,
Yeah,
or what
that's
have you,
maniac when
or
you
45 minutes before I have to be on the road? And he's like, "What do you do with your time?" And I don't even shower in that time.
Yeah.
I sit around and I eat breakfast and I get ready for the day.
Mhm.
But he's like, "What do you do with your time?" I see it now. You don't eat breakfast.
I don't eat
Yeah.
breakfast.
You just shower.
I don't shower. I
Okay,
shower
you
at
don't-
night.
okay.
I
Green
wake
aura.
up. I put my clothes beside my bed before bed. I pack
Yeah,
my
you're
lunch.
you're an up and
I'm an up and
you're
go.
up and run.
Yeah, like if I'll be pissed if I don't have coffee, but I'm out
Yeah.
the door.
Yeah,
That's fair.
I've been turning into an up and run, but it's bad for me because I would still wake up an hour ahead, and I roll in bed for 40 minutes, and I'm like, shit. Hey, boss, sorry I'm late.
The Instagram really gets to people lately. That's fucked up.
The Instagram?
Yeah, Instagram.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
It's
you're
just-
up on your phone. You're not gonna go back to sleep because your alarm went off.
Yeah, exactly. And if you go back to sleep, you're late. Like,
yeah,
you're
so
missing
you just
work.
scroll on Instagram for 30 minutes and you're like, oh,
Fuck, I gotta get
I
up.
don't
Yeah.
even like Instagram. Actually, as of recent, I don't even like social media. I think it's terrible to just sit on. It's
It is
time
bad for
burn.
you.
God.
But
Time
what
burn.
about the meals?
Yeah, what about
I
that?
cannot
about
eat
the
without
meals?
YouTube.
Can't eat without YouTube. So true.
I'm such an iPad kid.
Yeah.
That's what it's turned into. Supper's turned into I have to have a YouTube video on to watch it. But me and my lovely wife that I live with, if I make the pizza like I had made earlier and everything, and we put a
Make it the
YouTube video
pizza.
on the TV, that's peak.
I make it
Yeah.
the
I'm
pizza.
happy
I
with
cook
it.
it to pizza.
I cook
I
it a
cook it a
pizza.
pizza.
That was
put
a
TV
comment
on.
Zach left on the podcast. That was me. I cook it to pizza. So that's a reference for you, Zach.
That's a
I miss
reference.
you.
We,
Miss
we
you,
love
Zach.
you, Zach.
You'll be on in like 2 weeks, I bet.
I think breakfast foods are also the worst. I'm a big egg hater. I'll eat them because they're really good for you.
Mm.
But I hate the taste of eggs. I hate the texture of eggs.
Well, consider
Pancakes,
this.
they're so bad for you. They're just butter and flour.
I want you to consider this
Bacon,
topic.
that ain't good for you. Don't eat no bacon. Stop it.
A lot of stuff for breakfast is unhealthy and everything like that.
Cereal?
But
Everything.
I wanna
unhealthy
add-
for you if you really want to think about it.
sure, I agree. But I want to add to Aiden's argument here. Have you ever had a breakfast smoothie?
So
like,
good.
have you ever made that shit?
when I was at
So good.
Montessori, that's what we
It was
had
banging.
You had that all.
Like breakfast
You
smoothies
put some,
are awesome.
and then protein powder became very popular. And also
I have
pretty
protein
cheap.
powder over
Yeah,
there, and
so you
right
make a
next to it.
smoothie, you add a scoop of protein powder, you're laughing.
Yeah.
I'm very weird in the fact that I have one breakfast for several months, and then I switch it up and never have it again.
Yep.
But for like 6 months, protein shake in the morning, which was I had chocolate whey protein powder,
Yep.
almond milk in there, a banana, peanut butter, honey,
Oh, that's
with some Greek
wonderful.
with some Greek yogurt. Put that shit in the blender.
I hear you.
Open it up.
You ever
That's
made-
me every single morning.
I'm a
It was like a
maniac.
it was like a candy bar.
I have a quick question. You ever made a Reese's Pieces smoothie?
No.
It's where you add peanut butter, ice cream, milk, and some of that chocolate syrup
I've
in
had
there.
that.
You were not having that for breakfast. You were
it-
not
no,
having
No,
that
I
for
wasn't.
breakfast.
That was for like dessert after dinner, which
After breakfast.
Honestly,
Dessert
yeah.
after
I'm
breakfast.
gonna tell you, you guys are
After
going
every meal.
crazy. My favorite breakfast is my family criminalizes me for it. Cup of coffee, protein powder, stir that shit in. That's my
I
breakfast.
have had that before.
I have
it
it
is
every morning.
really good.
I have that shit every morning. That's
Really?
all I eat.
I don't have
So
it in my
are you so
coffee every
yoked?
morning.
If I have a smaller like dinner the night before, I'll do a piece of toast with butter. And I found out that that's just what they do in Holland. Breakfast is
that's
like
what they do
cheese
in a
and
lot
toast.
of. That's what they do in a lot of European countries.
Breakfast
Your
is
breakfast in the morning
lame.
in France is a cigarette and coffee.
Yeah, breakfast is lame. It's the most skipped meal because it's lame.
It's skipped because people are lazy and don't want to wake up in time. If you woke
I
up
would
2
agree.
hours before your shift and actually woke up properly before you went to work, you would want breakfast every single day of your
yeah,
life.
like the healthy kind of lifestyle too. I believe is the wake up, you have your breakfast, or you wake up, you go on a run, and then you
Yeah.
have your breakfast.
If you're
Breakfast is
on
supposed-
your grind set, working 25 hours a day every day,
I'm eating nothing but dinner.
then yeah, you eat nothing but dinner.
So my point wins. Let's go. This is the end of the
No,
episode.
no,
Bye.
you can't do that. That's
if you're
not
on your
possible.
grind set, then you only eat one meal.
it's not breakfast.
It's not.
breakfast. Technically,
I wouldn't
no,
even
hold
count
on.
that as
Hold
dinner
on.
though.
breakfast. Technically, if you only eat one meal a day, it's always breakfast.
It's
No,
always
you
breakfast.
tried
It's
to argue
always
this
breakfast.
point.
Hold on.
No, we already
said it
argued-
earlier.
Wait
We
a
said
minute.
it.
We
No,
said it. We said
No,
it.
this makes
We
Joey
said it in
wrong,
the
so I
rules.
have to say it.
We
I have to
said
say
this-
it.
We set the rules. We set the rules.
Within reason, and you're being unreasonable.
Okay.
Rats. Oh,
Okay.
fooey.
Rats. But no, I'm just saying if you're eating only one meal a day, I wouldn't count that as healthy.
yeah.
What if I get
I wouldn't count-
3,000
I wouldn't-
calories? All I want
I
is
wouldn't count that as
blue collar,
breakfast,
son.
lunch, or supper. I'd count that as the meal. That's
Mealtime.
that's something separate entirely. That's like
Yeah,
brunch or supper,
the
you know?
conglomerate meal.
Because if you're only having one meal a day, it's not like which three is it. It's
we-
it's its own separate
Hold
thing.
on.
Can we count cigarettes as breakfast?
Then
has
I
to be-
win. Then I win.
That's like a roofer's breakfast.
So yeah, hold on. What does this say here? One meal for the rest of your life.
If you had to have one meal for the rest of your life, what meal are you picking?
Like, is this meal time? Like, if I have to pick dinner, breakfast, or lunch?
That's what I was.
What I meant
or
it
is it
as
like
as the
one
food
food?
itself.
It-
Because
It's gonna be shepherd's pie.
shepherd's pie.
I can separate
Here's the thing.
everything in there if I wanted to.
How-
Shepherd's pie is considered sometimes to be a breakfast food
What?
Yeah.
Where?
in my tummy.
Okay, leftovers is breakfast. So if you have shepherd, I think breakfast
You
can.
cannot give him leftovers
No,
as an example.
You can. I would say as long as they're cold and not heated up. That's
I've
breakfast.
been over to
No,
people's
that's not
houses in the
breakfast.
morning and they said, "Hey, have some breakfast." I'm like, "Sweet, awesome," and it's
Oh,
shepherd's pie.
At what point is that just a quiche?
That's pretty cool. Yeah, at what point is that a quiche
When-
then? Because it's breakfast.
Isn't it a quiche just like mostly egg?
Yeah, it's mostly egg. You're
So
right.
it's not a
Yeah,
quiche.
so
Then.
it's not
It's
a quiche.
never a quiche
At what point
unless
is
you,
that
put,
never.
unless you crack a
Yeah, let me put a few
million
eggs in there.
And don't forget to add your egg, and then
Forget
another
to add
egg,
another
and then
egg.
another
That's
egg,
how to
and then
basic
another
video.
egg. Yeah, the shepherd's pie.
Yeah.
Become a quiche, you bitch.
Become a
How
quiche.
vague can we be with our one meal for the rest of our lives?
Could it be a part of any group? Like, I just picked a.
Oh no,
I
yeah,
picked
any
shepherd's-
group is what.
Yeah,
I
I picked shepherd's pie because I just love shepherd's
Yeah,
pie.
yeah.
So.
So you just picked any group, any meal.
One
What is your
day,
favorite-
gluttony will force you to grow to hate it.
What is your
Can I
favorite? What
choose
is
all
your
you can eat
favorite meal?
buffet?
No,
Can I choose Mandarin?
no, you cannot. One specific meal that you could eat for the rest of your life.
Like when I say how vague, like my example would be, I'm gonna choose a sandwich. How
No,
vague can I?
You
be?
have to.
No,
what
it
meats
has
are-
to be
what meats are on
specific.
it?
Sandwich?
What meats
Okay.
are on it?
That. So yeah, we have to get into specifics. I wanted to choose a sandwich so that I could always swap it up.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Like if I ever
No,
got
go-
sick of
go
it, I
fuck
had to
yourself.
swap
Go
it up.
fuck yourself.
You're
That's-
supposed to get sick of it at a point. It's
Yeah.
one meal you're having for the rest of your life. So
That's
no.
yeah. I wanted to
You
try
have to
and
be
not do
specific.
that.
You want to avoid the rules.
Yeah.
Little rule breaker.
Like I guess it's just a strawberry and a cup full of eggs. Like, get my natural
What?
vitamins for the day and then
That's-
pure protein. Like
That is a strawberries and a couple eggs on your sandwich.
no, like I'm just saying,
Those
like
are
if I had to pick
toppings.
one meal for the rest of my life to stay healthy, I need like your irons and your vitamins. So I'm gonna pick like a handful of strawberries and a cup full of eggs, and that's how I get all everything.
Shepherd's pie has everything.
Where's your fruits? Where's
I
your
have
fruits
vegetables. Fruits and vegetables are in the same meal category, aren't
No,
they?
that's not.
Uh-huh.
No, no,
Uh-huh.
no, no,
Yeah, they're in the same food
Yeah, in the
group.
food
no,
pyra-
no, no. The food pyramid. Are they really?
Yeah, they're
Yeah.
fruits and vegetables.
No. No.
Maybe-
I've
Well,
always
like,
classified.
come on.
Hey,
The
hey,
debate
editor!
between-
Hey, editor! Flash when he's wrong right now.
Don't do that! Don't do that!
It's a
The red
food
buzzer.
pyramid.
Hit him with the red
There's
buzzer.
a food pyramid
I'm-
on table.
I've always classified them as different. And I
Well,
like
Yeah, fruits and veggies are
They
different
are
things.
different.
However, they are
but
grouped together.
They're grouped together
in
in for food
'cause,
groups
like,
because
yeah.
there's grains, there's fruits and vegetables.
Because like fruits are also considered less healthy than vegetables because of how high their sugar content is.
Yeah,
like
but
the
the
natural sugars.
more
Natural
research has been
sugars are
done into
good.
that where the sugars, how like the high sugar content in fruits and vegetables, which
Is-
mind you,
is a good
scientists
thing.
can be wrong. It's a good thing. Having too
It-
much
yeah,
of those
yeah.
sugars, obviously, having too much of anything is bad.
Yeah.
But the one
It's the
apple a
good
day,
sugar.
one apple a day is not like it's good for you. But you can have 2 apples a day.
Yeah.
Sure, you got lots of sugar, but it's like the natural sugar.
Yeah,
It's
but if you have a
different than,
handful
like,
of strawberries for 3 meals, you're gonna get a canker. Which also, downside of fruit, cankers. I think that's the only thing that
don't
you can
get-
eat that immediately gives you an infection.
I don't get canker sores. Never have.
You've never gotten
Wait,
a canker.
what?
sore?
I have had an entire problem throughout my entire life.
They
I've
never
had a
suck
I've had a
so much.
canker every single week of my life.
I've never gotten a canker sore. Even when I eat a bag full of Sour Patch Kids, never happens.
I've never got it from Sour Patch Kids.
What do you get it from?
Fruit.
Nothing.
Pineapples.
I don't know.
Pineapples. Everyone has brown pineapples. I eat all pineapples.
I've been to
They don't stop
I've
me.
been to the doctor for it for canker sores. They can't figure it out.
You're
Mm.
just
It's like
weird.
every week I get one.
Weird mutant like that.
I don't like to put salt on
What
it, so
would
they
you-
stay there.
You would pick shepherd's pie.
Yep.
I would pick the most optimal, which I still think is some fruit or vegetable,
Mhm.
which I don't know what the most healthy is because I want to eat like one
You want
to get
pick,
all my vitamin and minerals.
You're min maxing your food basically.
Well,
then.
I would have to, I think, to stay alive.
Mm.
What would you pick?
No, you can eat anything and stay alive pretty well.
Yeah, but then you need supplements of the stuff you miss.
What? No.
Flintstone gummies, baby.
Yeah, Flintstone gummies are gonna be your best friend. What
Yo,
would-
that's my meal. I pick Flintstone gummies.
Flintstone gummies.
I picked 2 Percocets.
Joey, you can't have 2 of those.
I pick.
I
meth.
pick Siggy's.
I mean, I pick one monster. and a 5
One
hour
white
energy.
monster. No, what my meal would be for the rest of my life. And I know that you picked supper and you picked lunch, but I wasn't expecting that. I was expecting you to pick
Yeah.
like something else. But mine, unironically,
We're gonna hit no on that.
It keeps asking for an update. Anyways,
What my favorite food is to eat for the rest of my life is my morning breakfast wrap that I make. It is 2 to 3
Oh.
eggs in a giant Costco wrap, and they have this hash brown mix which has bell peppers,
Oh,
hash browns,
I do know that,
bacon,
yeah.
sometimes sausage if you want to toss that in there. You put some chipotle sauce on it, some chipotle ranch or a little bit of salsa, fold it all up, toss it back in your pan. You grill it for a little bit. You eat that. Scrum diddlyumptious.
Is that what you've been making recently?
No. What I've been making recently is toast, peanut butter, and jelly,
And a cigarette.
and a banana.
I think like my
But
favorite
I was
thing
gonna
about
say, you're not
whenever
tired of
whenever
that
I
in
go
6
back,
months.
whenever I go back on a meal, that's like I said before, I don't go back on meals.
Yeah.
Right. That's the only one I've gone back on.
Nice.
It's the only one that I've consistently
it
done.
sounds so good too.
It
does.
is so fucking
Breakfast
good.
wraps are my favorite. Like if I were to force to be eat, they say, hey,
To
sit me
eat
down-
one meal for the
No,
rest of your life.
No, I was gonna say eat breakfast every morning. They sat me down in a chair. I'd say, hey, breakfast.
You almost
wrap,
had a
please."
Freudian slip there.
Almost did. No, but if they sat me down in the electric chair and said, eat breakfast or die, I say, okay, can I have a breakfast wrap?
It hits all your good food groups.
Mhm.
It has everything important, and like, can we customize the sauces?
I think
No, you told Emmett to be specific. No.
True. Okay.
I wanted to. No, my specific is different than his specific.
Yeah,
I
yours
think-
was change out meat.
Yeah, change. I
completely.
wanted to
Well,
change.
You
out
want to change out
everything within.
90% of the meal.
I wanted to change.
I
out
want
everything
to
that was in,
change
yeah.
the toppings. Like I want to change the seasoning on my steak, basically.
Mhm.
Sure.
Like,
Okay,
One day I
so yeah.
salt, one day not.
Yeah, so like one day you could go dry, you could go extra sauce type of shit. Like that little bit of variation is all you need in the morning. And then you get your coffee or you get your orange juice or your apple juice. I'm big fan of apple juice.
You can't ever make the same sandwich. Anyways, even if you tried your hardest, you can't make the same
It
sandwich.
can't be 100% the same, but if
Nope.
you have the same ingredients, it can taste the same.
It'll never
It-
be the
yeah,
same
but it'll never be
again.
the same.
So I was hoping that one of us would overlap in our meals and then be
And
like,
we'd fight.
yeah, and then we fight over it. That didn't happen.
You mean like picking favorite foods for one meal a lot? Like what do you
Yeah,
mean overlap?
What I meant was I was hoping that either two of us would pick breakfast foods or two of us would
Oh.
pick supper foods or two of us would pick lunch foods. That didn't
We
happen.
kind of just went with our topics and
Yeah, because like
Yeah.
we believe what we're supporting. Surprisingly,
No, I'm a still big believer in dinner. I'm a big believer in dinner. But I think lunch is most optimal. I think lunch is most optimal.
You could just
No,
give me the win.
that's like that is a politician who said something
Look,
ruining, and
no,
it's like no,
No, hear me out. I'm a big believer in the stats and what is objectively true, not objectively stupid. I think my heart is in dinner. My heart is in dinner.
Mm.
I hate breakfast.
Mm.
I'm resentful to breakfast, but lunch is statistically most optimal meal. Everyone has lunch.
Nope.
That is also straight up false.
Yeah,
not
that's straight up
everyone has
false.
lunch.
Most people don't eat
A lot-
lunch.
a lot of-
Everybody,
someone at my work
most
skips lunch all the time.
most
I think-
people in life skip lunch.
I
They
think-
eat breakfast,
Not
skip lunch,
no,
and then
not most people in life,
dinner. Okay, man.
because you're generalizing.
Yeah,
most people
because
in
I
life,
only work with
most
blue-collar
people in life have 3 meals in
Mhm.
a first world country
Really?
Yes.
Yeah. because they are in a nursing home.
I'm
That
gonna-
is where the population is skewed
Um,
towards.
I think
okay.
it's lunch is also the most flexible to
Mhm.
up lunch. You can have anything
I think-
for lunch.
I think I think
anything.
you are correct in that it is the most optimal meal
Mhm.
because you can do whatever you want. There's no restrictions. There's no hard set rules, and there's no pressure. You
Yeah.
want to have leftovers? Fuck it.
Fuck
We
it.
It's
ball.
like the
you want a
perfect
meal
time
prep
to-
for the entire week? Sure,
Fuck it.
awesome. You want to have a smoothie? You want to have a cigarette and coffee? That's
You
lunch.
want to have nothing but oxygen. We could count that as
yeah,
lunch.
that you could count that as
I'm
lunch.
not
And there's
counting
no-
oxygen.
There's no societal like.
And you always get a break. It's your break time during work,
Mhm.
legally
it's called
required.
a lunch break.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it's called the lunch break.
So I think Emmett is right that it's statistically most optimal. But this entire time we've been talking about how food is more emotion and people that you
Yeah.
gathered
So
with.
this,
so
this is yeah. There comes the fault of.
So
my-
there's
I
your
don't feel anything when I eat lunch. I feel like I got 30 minutes to play Cookie Run Kingdom, and that's
Yeah.
about it.
That's your lunch, buddy.
So for
That's your
my
lunch.
for my closing argument on breakfast, it has all the same points as supper, where it can be a family event. It can
Sunday
be a
church
hard
one.
set rule that you have to show up for, because some people do have breakfast before you go to school.
Mhm.
Everyone eats at the same table. You see it in movies all the time.
Breaking Bad does it.
Any coming of age story, it's the kid running away from breakfast, having like one piece of toast in their mouth. They still have breakfast, right? It happens all the time.
Talk
So
about-
it's shown in media. It's important to people, important to me, and it's considered the most important meal of the day by a lot of people.
Mhm.
And our high school had breakfast club, which was fucking awesome because you'd go in there, have some string cheese and like a grilled cheese maybe,
And
whatever
the
they had.
egg sandwiches.
Yeah, egg sandwich. It was awesome because it was made by the. I'm gonna cut this out because I don't know what the proper word is, and I don't want to be crucified.
Yeah, I know what you're going for. You don't have to say it. It's
Yeah.
okay. I know what you're
I
saying.
was gonna say
no,
it
it
was made for that. It was
made by them.
It was made by them. It was to help
Sure.
people who are like less fortunate.
who don't have.
But it
to-
was
Yeah.
made by people who needed to be taught those life skills so they could succeed in life.
Which is
So-
perfect for a school.
Yeah, it was an
Literally
all-around
perfect.
great success, and it expanded to lunch. But it was the Breakfast Club to start off
Did it?
with. Yeah,
Did it
it did
expand
expand
to
to lunch.
It-
Yeah,
I thought it was snack. They came to.
yeah, it was
snack.
like snack.
They came
turned
around
into
at 10
snack
o'clock
cart.
and they
Yeah.
snack cart.
Yeah.
The snack
And
cart
it
was
was-
because of COVID.
It was an awesome idea, which was great. But Breakfast Club will always have a place in my heart because it was so impactful, and breakfast is just so important to you, and it's also freeing as well because you can still have leftovers, you can still make something, and it's when you have your coffee. It's how you set out to see the day,
That's
and
true.
if it's shit, today's gonna be shit.
That's true. If your breakfast was bad, then your day's bad.
Yep,
I just
that's
think most people skip breakfast. That's all. That's my
yeah,
only.
that is
argument.
my closing argument.
It's a good
Joey?
argument.
Me? All right. So my argument for dinner is just it's the time where the day's winding down. You've gathered your meal. It's typically your most thought out and prepared meal for it.
Okay.
Usually tastes better than lunch or breakfast because it's not rushed,
Okay.
right? It's usually it tastes better. It games better.
It's better.
It's kind of one of the only meals that is most often prepared by someone else.
It's always family time. Like
Yeah.
always hard family time for this stuff.
I
talking
would
about your day.
disagree with the hard rule.
No.
It maybe was a hard rule in your house.
It's a soft rule for family time because like especially like the age we are now.
You both live different lifestyles than what I live, obviously. Like when I was a kid, that's 5 o'clock every time you're at dinner.
Yeah.
You guys are on farms, you guys have busy weeks.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Sometimes your parents just aren't there for dinner.
Yeah.
And it's time to
It
do
happens.
other stuff, right?
I would
But
say
that's
I would
your
say that's
guys'
more
lifestyle.
common in today's world.
Yep.
I
Agreed.
think that's what, for not sitting down with your parents and eating dinner?
Just
yes,
because,
because
I would argue against that.
out of necessity, parents are being forced to have two jobs, right? Either one person taking on two or splitting it between the two parents, right?
Sure.
So having a hard set time for supper just doesn't work anymore.
I still feel like that's wrong. I feel like you're looking at it through rose-colored glasses because you've been raised differently.
That's fair. That's fair. Like when I look at my sister, they have separate time, but there's no hard set. But they fluctuate whenever.
Yes, yeah.
this is
My
true.
family does that too. It's between 5 and 5:30.
But you
is when
said
it
5
starts.
hard before.
Sorry.
no 5
So
and
you're
5:30
lying.
Also,
No,
so you're
5 hard.
lying.
So you're lying.
So you're lying.
So
No,
what else have you lied about?
I think
Everything.
This is what I
My name
bring to
isn't
you, the
Joey.
jury. He is a liar. 30 minutes is a lot of time.
I think I kind of agree with Aiden on this. Is that the world we live in now? I'm finding less people sit down for dinner.
Mhm.
It's just a fact. Of the
I'm
matter.
sorry. Do you sit down with other people's families at dinner?
Yes.
time?
Yes, all the time.
Yes, I've got my girlfriend.
That doesn't count.
That does
That's-
count.
That's one
It's
other
a family of 3, and half the time we go there, like we're making dinner because they don't have time because they're working.
You're
when
there
I was
with
in
one other
grade,
family?
when I was in
Doesn't
grade 8,
count.
I didn't get home from school some nights till 7. Dinner already happened,
Yeah.
right? Like
Like I'm in night school right now, and my dinner is what I pack in the morning.
most people
Yeah.
who have the drive to like get ahead, who don't own their home, who are looking to get that step up in life, that's the time they work,
Mhm.
from 5 till 8.
I
5 till
I
9,
think
5
it's
till
I think
10.
it's very life stage dependent. Like
100%.
when I'm a kid, when you guys were kids, it's pretty integral that dinner time is always had
100%.
and you're always all sitting down together, right? Like you can't prepare your own food at an age, so dinner's always a thing.
I just feel like you're looking at dinner in like the back where someone always made it for you. If you always had to make dinner every night, which
He lives
you
alone.
live by yourself,
What are you
I feel
talking
like
about?
you've just been reminiscing about more of the past, where it's like, oh, someone's making it for me. It's the least effort meal because
Here.
you don't have
No,
to do
I,
any effort.
I live on my own. I think it's a very
I'll
high
tell
effort
you
right
meal.
now.
I'll
but,
tell
like,
you
before.
what. I'll tell you
when
what.
you talked about dinner and anything but the past tense, it was with a bit of hate because like I have to do all my own dishes. I have to do all
I addressed that right when I was starting off. If you don't have a dishwasher, it's
Dinner's gonna-
terrible.
yeah. So
because-
you say
yeah.
that your own meal's terrible.
I'll say this
I'm not
right
saying
now.
my meal's terrible.
From the stage of life that we're in, dinner's not that great. It's not. Breakfast and lunch is kind of where it's at. I'd say breakfast, if you're a breakfast enjoyer, that's the shit.
Mhm.
I'd say if you're a lunch enjoyer, that's the if you're a breakfast
I
hater,
would-
lunch is the shit. Dinner's not the shit. But here's the thing. Joey is completely right. Dinner time is so integral to family time, and when you have young kids,
Mhm.
there has to be a time you'll get your job,
Mhm.
and you'll have a hard schedule, and your significant other will get their job, and they'll have this hard schedule. There'll be a time that you will make time for dinner. because you'll have to.
Mhm.
Dinner time will come back, and there'll be a day where you sit down with your 5 and 6 years olds,
Mhm.
and you're having dinner at the same time every night.
Mhm.
That right now, not it. But there's a time dinner will come back, and I
Mhm.
think Joey's right. Joey's right about that. Dinner time is family time.
Yeah, okay.
It comes back.
I think to settle this once and for all, we need to get someone. I'm gonna call Steve Willems. And ask him what his
No,
favorite
we're not
meal is.
going
Let's call
Steve
Steve.
Willems.
This is a callback. That's a good idea.
I'm gonna call him up and because I thought it was like, oh, you can call Zach. I'm like, no, I'm gonna call Steve.
Yeah, we're
Yeah,
gonna
just
call
ask him.
Steve.
Just ask him quickly to say, "Hey, we're on the pod."
Yeah, Steve, old man.
Yeah,
What? That's my dad.
yeah.
You can't call him that.
Yes,
that's
I can.
That's what I call him.
The man's a great man. I can call
Why don't you
him.
pick up? He picked up.
Hey, Steve, how's it going? You got a bit of time to answer a question? We're on the podcast.
Oh my god, not really.
It takes. It'll take you 5 seconds.
It'll be 5 seconds, Steve. Please.
Okay, right now, I'm kind of in.
Oh. What's the best meal of the day? Breakfast, lunch, or supper?
The best?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Probably dinner.
That's
Thank you,
I win.
Fuck. That settles it. That settles it. The man has spoken, I guess. Joey used to pray for a time like these, I guess.
No, your mic.
It's okay. It comes in and out. I think his bottom thing is finicky. Regardless,
Dinner
there
wins.
it is.
I can't disagree.
Our Lord
with
has
Steve.
spoken.
He's kind of right about
Yeah.
everything. He's a
He
straight
is.
white man. He has to be.
Yeah.
Oh my
Let us know what you guys think down in the comments. Thank you for showing
Yes.
up.
Please share
And
your
make sure you
opinion.
come back for the next episode.
Hell
Holy
yeah.
jumping. That was a
See you,
good one.
gents and ladies.